Ram, Vanakkam, Namaskar, Vandanam, Assalamu Alaikum, and Sat Shri Akal. Today, we explore something called perspective. Perspective. What is perspective? Sometimes when people talk to you, they say, so what do you think of it? What's your perspective of this? How do you perceive this? So it's a particular attitude towards something or someone. In other words, a point of view. Perspective means a point of view. So what's the difference then between a subjective and an objective perspective? You show someone something, they'll tell you what they think, or they'll say what most people will look at it and say. So subjective and objective. So always there are two views, right? What you yourself would say and what you think others would say. So basically, perspective is the way you look at something and how you understand that thing. How you look at something and how you understand that thing. So what intelligence says, intelligence points towards having a flexible perspective, not a rigid perspective. It is called an open mind. So learning how to think out of the box, what I always refer to as a paradigm shift. Have a perspective, which can easily move between paradigms, can shift itself. So not a rigid, but open. So learning to have and to keep an open mind is essential if one is keen to develop spiritually. Perspective. Right view, right action, right attention, right concentration, right focus, right aim. All that comes here. Learning to show empathy in developing a right perspective is what you should aim for. Right? When people are so biased, isn't it? They stigmatize everything. They look at things and they say things, they're judgmental. They look at people and they say things about those people, they're judgmental because they lack the right perspective. They do not keep an open mind. The moment they see something, they're closed. They become judgmental. They say, oh, this is it. This is it. This must be it. This cannot be something other. Right? So let me tell you a story, which I have shared on, on many occasions, but it's always worth repeating something that is so poignant, that injects this, injection of self-realization. Now, this father got onto the train with 4 of his kids. He got into the train and he sat down. The train started to move, and there was a man sitting opposite there's a passenger sitting opposite this man with his 4 children. But the moment the doors closed and the train started to move, these 4 kids were jumping up and down, running up and down, The passenger tried to contain himself, trying not to say something, right? But he was getting so agitated, he was getting so angry. And at some point, he couldn't take it anymore. He just lashed out at the father, who was just sitting down there with his head hung low. He said, what kind of a father are you? You're not responsible at all. What kind of upbringing are you instilling in these kids? Look, they're so, they lack discipline. They are so indisciplined. What is wrong with you? They are lashed out like that, The father looked at this passenger and said, look at them, they're so happy. How do I tell them that their mother has just passed away in the hospital? At that point in time, the passenger's view completely changed. His perspective completely changed. He didn't know what to say. In fact, he felt so embarrassed that when the train stopped at the next station, he got out and left. The man just sat there. So this is what I mean by perspective. If you don't have the right perspective, you will always make the wrong decisions or judgments or say the wrong things, Often we judge so willingly, isn't it? Don't judge. Instead, develop the right view. Buddha says, samyak vak, samyak drishti, samyak chintanam, samyak mananam, samyak karanam, Instead of developing the right perspective, we are becoming so judgmental. Samyak drishti. When you see something, don't judge immediately. Have an open mind. There may be a reason why things are like this. There may be a reason why he's behaving like this. There may be a reason why he didn't come on time for the appointment. Have an open mind. Your life will become easier. Your life will become easier when you have the right perspective. What is the right perspective? Perspective is everything when you are experiencing the challenges of life. The right perspective makes the impossible possible. Right? Vivekananda says your perspective will either become your prison or your passport. Meaning one will enslave you, one will free you, give you liberty. And my favorite one is, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. My favorite one. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. How fantastic is that, you know? And Swami said, perspective, what you see depends not only what you look at, but also from where you look at it. Until I see you next week, stay blessed.